Don't you think it is strange that some people say they fell in love the first time they saw someone? Should we conclude that love is just based on looks and physical attraction? In this episode, we will find out what really happens to your body and mind when you believe that you have fallen in love. Watch the video till the end to learn scientifically proven tricks that you can use to find the right person to fall in love with. Before we begin, remember to like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to get instant notifications when we upload a new video. Have you ever wondered why people say they are madly in love? That's because when you fall in love with someone, your body starts acting up. You may start sweating and you forget how to speak properly or do things you will otherwise not do. Most importantly, your heart starts racing and beating faster. That's also why we use the heart as a symbol of love. But here is a shocking fact. It's actually your brain that's causing all the madness associated with love. Your heart is just reacting to your brain's signals. In the book Why We Love, the author Dr. Helen Fisher explains how chemicals play a role in how we experience love. Let's explore this concept a little more. Everything we feel as human beings is a result of chemical activity that is triggered by what we see and how our bodies are wired. This is true even for love. Love can be categorized into three types: lust, attraction, and attachment. We have these three types of love because our brain generates different hormones that trigger a different type of love. Lust is the need for having sex. Lust is always seen as a bad form of love, especially if you are attracted towards someone who is not your spouse or a partner. If lust is bad, why do we experience it, and why do spiritual men and women go to great lengths to control this feeling? The answer lies in survival. You see, only when you have sex, you will make babies, and if you stop having babies, the human population will start declining and eventually we will all become extinct. In fact, all animals have the same drive to have sex to make sure their species survive. What triggers lust? The human brain, specifically the hypothalamus region, triggers the production of sex hormones, namely testosterone and estrogen. These hormones increase the drive for sex for both men and women. Now let's look at another type of love, attraction. Attraction is different from lust. You can be attracted to someone without feeling the need to have sex. The feeling of attraction is connected to a chemical produced in the brain called dopamine. When dopamine is released, we feel good. So spending time with people we are attracted to is such a wonderful feeling. That's why when you are in a new relationship, such as during dating or immediately after marriage, you always want to spend time with the other person. Some people will find it difficult to even sleep or focus on work because they are so much in love. There is a reason for this as well. People in love also see a decrease in the generation of serotonin, a hormone that's known to be connected to appetite and mood. Now, let's understand the third type of love. It's called attachment. We experience attachment from the moment we are born. We are naturally attached to our parents as they are our primary caregivers. The affection our parents shower on us when we are young help us build emotional bonds with people when we grow up. That's why married couples who have some level of compatibility form an attachment that lasts a lifetime. So what causes attachment? The constant holding, kissing, and hugging we experience when we are children triggers the release of a chemical called vasopressin, which helps build bonds. It also releases another chemical called oxytocin, which creates a feeling of closeness with our parents and calms us down when we are stressed. That's why you will notice that whenever a child starts crying, the mother will instinctively carry the child and pat the child. Even animals show attachment towards one another. You will see them grooming each other, licking their young ones to create bonds and a sense of connection. In fact, chimpanzees are known to hug and kiss each other. Now that we understand the different types of love and hormones and chemicals play a role in triggering what we believe is love, let's explore 3 scientific principles that will help you find the right person to fall in love with. According to studies conducted by psychologists, It takes just 1/10 of a second to form an impression about the person we meet for the first time. Even if you spend more time with this person, you don't really change the opinion you formed in a fraction of a second. The reason we come to a decision based on very limited information can be traced back to our ancestors. When man was still hunting and gathering food, making a decision quickly about possible dangers made a difference between survival or death. That's why all of us have the capacity to decide quickly about people we meet. Call it a gift from our ancestors. Just imagine meeting someone for the first time in an arranged marriage, and with just your first glimpse, you come to a conclusion about how much you like the person. So what's the moral of the story? Make sure you create a great first impression every time. That's why we dress up for job interviews, and the same principle applies for love as well. Being properly groomed, arranging first meetings at a place with a good ambience are just some of the things you should do to improve your chances of attracting people. The same principle is true even for falling in love. Only rarely do we find people who pick up a fight on their first meeting and end up marrying each other. Maybe this happens in movies a lot, but rarely in real life. Use the theory of optimal stopping to make sure you select the right person to fall in love or get married to. Mathematician Dr. Hannah Fry, in her book, The Mathematics of Love, has concluded that you should reject all the people during the first 37% of the time you have to meet others, either through dating sites or matrimonial sites. Then pick the next potential match who is better than everyone else you have ever met before. Let me explain this with an example. Let's say you are 25 years old and want to get married or find someone to have a serious relationship in the next 3 years. In this case, you should reject people you meet for the first 13 months, which happens to be roughly about 37% of 3 years, and then pick someone who you think is better than all the people you have met so far. Why does this theory make sense? The formula works as it maximizes the chances of finding the right person while minimizing the chances that you may never find someone good enough to get married to because you rejected all the better matches. In fact, unknowingly, most of us use the same formula when making important decisions in our lives, such as finding a house or buying a car. The problem with love and relationships is that we may be swayed by our hormones and first impressions and not really make a rational decision all the time. Hormones and chemicals trigger the feeling of passion and lust at the beginning of every relationship. However, the effects of these hormones last only for a few months. Studies have shown that after a while, you will start noticing that your heart doesn't go on an overdrive every time you see your partner or spouse. So if you want to make a decision on who you want to spend your time with, take your time before you make the final decision. After all, when your body stops producing hormones, you will start noticing the flaws in the other person that you previously ignored. Staying in love is a choice you make, as you will have to start thinking about how you can keep the other person happy for a long term and not just use the relationship to satisfy your urges. Check out the links in the description to read in-depth articles on how to find love and how to stay in love. We hope this episode gave you a different perspective on love and relationships. Stay tuned for our next episode of Jodi Logic Explains.